I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing.
Stephanie White didn't just raise her voice. She sent shockwaves through the league after what unfolded with the Indiana Fever last night. No filters, no pleasantries. She flat out called out the referees, echoing what frustrated fans have screamed for weeks. The Fever lost by a heartbreaking 2 points to the Liberty, but let's be real, they were robbed. A jaw-dropping minus 31 free throw gap hangs in the air like a red flag, and Clark was mauled on the final possession. Yet whistles stayed silent. White didn't hold back, questioning if WNBA officiating even has integrity left. This video dives into the tape, exposes the decisions, and reveals the cold, hard truth. What do you think? Was this the worst call we've seen all season?
Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm when she follows through and then fouls her for the 4th time on her arm. It's cheating, it's plain as day. The haters will say, she got locked up. Yeah, if you're fouling the whole game, but I'm going through this entire game. The corrupt refs gave this game to New York and they still barely won.
Imagine it, the Fever going toe-to-toe with the champs, each possession a war zone. Aaliyah Boston unleashed fury. 27 points, 13 boards, sheer dominance. Lexi Hall, thrust into the spotlight, didn't blink. She delivered 15 points like a seasoned vet. The Fever looked like contenders, but there was a shadow over it all. Every drive brought contact, no calls, nothing. Meanwhile, New York? They lived at the line. You could feel the tension boiling. 32 free throws for Liberty. Indiana? Just 15. That's not just a stat. It's a verdict. In a game. Decided by 2 points, that kind of disparity doesn't just sting, it screams injustice. And what came next only deepened the controversy. This was the night Indiana roared back and showed the world their ceiling. A 17-point explosion in the third quarter stunned the Liberty. It wasn't just a run, it was a statement. Against the league's top dogs, the Fever finally played free and fearless. Caitlin Clark fought through a jungle of arms, dragging defenders with her every step. 18 points, 10 assists. And yet, the silence from the refs echoed louder than any cheers. Every hit she took at the rim went unnoticed. Meanwhile, Liberty's touch fouls, immediate whistles. The contrast was glaring. One team had to claw through every inch, the other was handed the map. But the final chapter, that would push the limits of fairness even further.
A 3 off target, batted a lot, bodies on the floor. Clark 1-on-3 trying to split the defense, goes into traffic and reverses it off the glass. And a fearless Caitlin Clark here.
Watch how she uses her body to shield the defender. That's just beautifully done by Caitlin Clark.
Indiana was cruising, a 12-point lead in the fourth. The win was in their grasp. But then the script flipped, and not because of poor execution. The officiating swung the pendulum. Suddenly, every Liberty drive came with a whistle. Every Fever attack? Silence. Jonquel Jones exploded for 14 in the final stretch, drawing foul after foul like clockwork. On the flip side, Indiana's bruises meant nothing. No whistles, no fairness, just frustration. Fans could see it, players could feel it. The shift wasn't subtle, it was seismic. One team surged forward with help, the other was shackled by bias. And just when it seemed like the calls couldn't get worse, the final seconds brought the real heartbreak.
No pass shot possessions for New York. Clark, step back 3. Oh, she hit it and draws the foul. Welcome back, Caitlin Clark.
This game wasn't about talent anymore. Indiana already proved they had it. No, this came down to something darker. Every time the Fever pushed forward, a silent force pushed back. The refs. The bias bled through every whistle. And then, the finale. 2-point deficit. 2.9 seconds left. Time stopped. The ball lands. In Caitlin Clark's hands, this was it. She makes her move. Natasha Cloud crashes into her. Once, twice, and again. It's clear as daylight on replay. Contact before, during, and after. Yet, the refs stood frozen. No call, no justice. The clock ran out, not just on the game, but on faith in the system. The buzzer sounded, but the controversy had only just begun.
Our third quarter was really, really good. Obviously, if we won the quarter by 17 points, that's what put us in a position to have a chance to win. So essentially, we really played one good quarter of basketball and lost to the defending champions by 2. So I guess that's positive. A lot of ways to continue to get better.
And at the heart of the chaos, Caitlin Clark stood tall, completely unfazed.
A 3 off target. Batted a lot. Bodies on the floor. Clark 1-on-3 trying to split the defense. Goes into traffic and reverses it off the glass. And a fearless Caitlin Clark here.
Watch how she uses her body to shield the defender. That's just beautifully done by Caitlin Clark.
Slow motion doesn't lie. Caitlin Clark drives, absorbs contact, clear, undeniable. It should have meant 2 crucial free throws. Instead, silence, no whistle, no explanation. What could have been a comeback for the ages dissolves into a gut punch loss. Indiana drops to 2-2. The foul, right there. Everyone saw it, except those who mattered most. The refs. Another heartbreak, sealed by silence. Again.
The refs messed up 3 calls in the last 3 possessions of this game. First, DeWanna Bonner gets absolutely destroyed, no call.
But wait, this wasn't even the first officiating failure. 2 plays earlier, Dana Bonner sliced through the paint with a wide-open lane and got slammed. No whistle, no points. Then, just moments later, Lexi Hull shadowed Sabrina Ionescu perfectly. Hands up, feet set. And yet, the whistle blows. No contact, no foul, just a mysterious call that flips the narrative. The timing couldn't have been worse.
And then Sabrina Ionescu makes the contact.
Barely a touch, and that gets called. Meanwhile, Dana Bonner's hard hit on a layup draws nothing, and that ghost foul on Ionescu, it gifts her the free throws that bury Indiana. 2 points, handed to New York, off a phantom play, while every bruising Fever drive is dismissed like vapor. Justice? Not even close. The imbalance hits like a punch to the gut.
And this is the worst one. There's 1 foul. There's 2 fouls. Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm when she follows through and then fouls her for the 4th time on her arm. It's cheating. It's plain as day. The haters will say, she got locked up. Yeah, if you're fouling the whole game. But I'm going through this entire game. The corrupt refs gave this game to New York, and they still barely won.
3 critical whistles, each one slicing into the Fever's chances. Bonner's no call on a go-ahead drive. Hull's phantom foul handing New York the lead. And the dagger, Clark's final shot, smothered in contact, yet greeted with silence. The video evidence is damning. This wasn't just inconsistency. It was injustice in plain view. Indiana didn't lose to the Liberty. They lost to the whistle.
Coach, you talked about the way that the game has been officiated for you guys. How did you see the foul that was not called, or a lack of foul, on the Bonner play, and then follow it up by Lexi Hull getting called for the foul?
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I mean, I thought it was obvious. I felt like AB got one, had one going to the rim. They're in rotation. DB's was crazy. We had, and then Lexi's, I felt like equally, we talk about, coming into the path, and it was an offensive player veering into the defensive player's path. It is what it is. We have to be able to play through it. But at the same time, I feel like it's really disrespectful.
She didn't need to say a word. The fury in Stephanie White's stare said everything. Her team had been ambushed by bias, and she wasn't letting it slide. That press room? It became a battleground. Each step toward the podium, carried the weight of injustice. And when she finally spoke, the room held its breath. You could feel it. Something seismic was about to drop.
Disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control.
Then came the gut punch, a -31 free throw deficit in just a few games. That's not a mistake, it's a pattern, a message. She didn't mince words. The no call on Caitlin Clark wasn't just oversight, it was, in her words, pretty egregious. When Stephanie White uses language like that, it's not random. It's a call to arms. And the league? It better be listening.
Steph, given your perspective on the first 4 games, is that something you've already tried to be proactive with the league, or you'll reach out to them and let your feelings known?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a system to making sure that we can send stuff in and communicate, our grievances, so to speak. I don't know that I ever feel like the system works. We're not looking for a change. We're just looking for consistency. I felt like the second half of Atlanta, at least at our place, was at least consistent, right? And that's the thing that we're looking for.
Then she turns the spotlight toward the league itself, shining it straight into the heart of WNBA bureaucracy. Sure, coaches can file reports and submit video, but her next words slice deep. I don't know that I ever feel like the system works. That's not frustration. That's a damning accusation. She's not just upset, she's exposing a broken process. And when she says her players keep attacking the rim and don't get whistles, that's not random bad luck. That's a warning sign. The kind that makes fans gasp and forces the league to ask, are we really treating all teams the same?
On the plus side, you could say you're 2 possessions away from being 4-0 in these games. Do you look at it from both sides? Like, here are the positives of this, and then here are the things we really want to work on.
Yeah, and that's probably what's frustrating about it, too. It's like, we are 2 possessions from being 4-0, but there was so many little areas in this game that we could have improved. Like, our defense, again, to start the game was poor. And we got to find a way to come out with more energy, being able to guard. And yes, they present a very tough challenge when all 5 of them can make threes, and they're setting inverted ball screens, things like that. It's a challenge, but you got to find a way to.
White's fire wasn't only about that final whistle. It was about dignity, about a team being overlooked, disrespected. She's sick of watching her squad get treated like second-class contenders. And while most coaches bite their tongues to avoid penalties, White speaks her truth, boldly. This wasn't just a statement, it was a historic stance. A moment that might echo for years. Her words, a mirror for the league. And then, Caitlin Clark jumps in. We are 2 possessions from being 4-0. That stings, because it's true. And that truth is louder than any fine the league could ever give.
Is definitely where we can be a lot better. It feels like every game we've really only put 2 quarters together. We're kind of waiting for that, 4 quarters of really good basketball, and I think it's going to be a learning curve. This group is new. We haven't played a ton together, so but that's what's going to have to happen if we want to beat the really good teams in this league. Is you got to find a way to put together 4 really good quarters. There's going to be runs. That's basketball. They're going to go on their runs. We got to be able to find a way to stop them and then respond. So I think that's an area we can certainly improve.
This team isn't cracking under pressure. They're forging steel in the heat. Every setback is fuel, every missed call a chip on the shoulder. And Caitlin Clark, she doesn't dodge reality. Feels like every game we've really only put 2 quarters together, she admits. That's not rookie talk, that's leadership. A blueprint still under construction, but the foundation, rock solid. These aren't just lessons, they're warnings to the league. This team is coming, and when they put 4 quarters together, watch out.
I think for us, we just have to make sure that we're playing consistent throughout the whole game. It's pretty easy to just say that our, not getting over the hump in that 4th quarter, but I think our start, in in that second quarter, they outscored us by a bit. So we have to make sure that our start is better so that when we do get to the fourth quarter, it doesn't have to be this close. But I mean, it was competitive basketball. We dug ourselves in a hole to start. We got back in it, tied the game up. Sometimes the ball just doesn't roll your way, but I think if we prioritize the way we start, it's going to be better for us in that fourth quarter.
Then there's Aaliyah Boston sending a message. This team isn't a one-woman show. She exploded with 27 points and 13 rebounds against the reigning champs. That's not just a performance, it's a warning. Boston's ability to dominate when Caitlin Clark's shot isn't falling proves this squad has layers. That's what separates contenders from pretenders. Winning teams don't lean on one star. They have multiple closers. And Aaliyah Boston? She just announced herself as one of them. The league better take notice.
How do you accept officiating without letting it, I guess, affect how you go about and execute the rest of the game?
Yeah, when it comes to accepting, it's like we don't really have a choice because they're going to call what they want to call. And so for us, I mean, even for me, I miss some of those easy around the rim. I think for me, I have to put them in the rim for just post talk. And we just have to finish through contact. If we don't get it, we don't get it, but we have to give ourselves the best opportunity to get that basket.
And Lexi Hull? She steps into her first start and pours in 15 points like she's been waiting for the moment her whole life. That's not just useful, it's game-changing. Role players rising transforms everything. She gave Stephanie White a new weapon. Even while Caitlin Clark battled shooting woes, the Fever surged ahead, up 12 entering the fourth, including a third-quarter beatdown where they outscored New York by 17. The takeaway? When Indiana strings together all 4 quarters, they're dangerous. Losing close despite lopsided whistles didn't break them. It hardened them. They're evolving fast, and they're refusing to fold under pressure.
We'll have a couple of days to get some work in practice, and we'll use that as an opportunity to look at some of those things. We've got to continue to do what got us here. We got to move the ball. We've got to hit singles, not make home run plays. We have a tendency to try to make the home run play all the time, the dagger or the play that gets the momentum going, or and it doesn't need to be that way. We can make the easy plays. So those were more of the communications, keeping our intensity level, on both ends of the floor. You can't relax. I mean, the margin for error when you're talking about playing championship caliber teams is so small.
The outrage over these blown calls? It's fueling something deeper, an unshakable us versus everybody mentality. The kind legends are born from. When teams feel the system's against them, they don't crumble. They unify. Coaches grow bolder, players tougher, fans louder. That's how championship DNA forms. Indiana isn't waiting for the playoffs to feel pressure. They're marinating in it right now, learning to stay composed when chaos erupts. These aren't just bad breaks, they're battle scars. And scars, like these, toughen you up for June. Come playoff time, the Fever won't be the same. They'll be forged, ready for everything the league throws their way. The refs might try to slow them down, but the Indiana Fever are building something relentless. No whistle can stop this rise. Aaliyah Boston took command, Lexi Hull delivered in crunch time, and Caitlin Clark never backed off. Versus Atlanta, Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, and Sophie Cunningham all made noise. Every questionable call has only deepened this team's connection with each other and with their fans. This isn't just basketball, it's a movement. Every injustice becomes fuel, every silence, strength. Bookmark this now. 2025 Storm is coming from Indiana. Sound off in the comments if you're tired of these refs. Like, sub, and smash that bell.